Hello, gentle viewers. This is Indian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 22, where we were narrowly defeated in the World Series by the hated Chicago White Sox. Well, the disliked Chicago White Sox. I don't actually hate them. And uh, this is going to be our last episode with the Boston Braves. Thank you to everyone who commented on last Monday's video. We'll definitely be playing with the Cardinals starting next week, so you'll have that to look forward to. If you're a Cardinals fan, don't tell my wife. She hates the Cardinals because she's a Cubs fan. But the sacrifices we must make. Yeah. I am ready to go ahead and sim. Why does this keep happening, game? Why do I keep having people retire and then unretire randomly? Like, you're retired, bro. Go away. Excellent. So I'm not too interested in any player that doesn't help us right away. Yes, boxes are being checked. I could not be happier. Oh my gosh. Stop it. I want to go forward. So what would we actually like to add this offseason? We're kind of strong at everything. I wouldn't mind another starting pitcher. But we've really got strong performers at every position. So I really don't know what I would want to target in the draft. Between us, I really don't know. But I'm sure I'll think of something. I better be manager of the year this time around, damn it. Good. Damn, we got Cy Young and MVP, which is pretty hilarious when I didn't even get a Silver Slugger at first base for Jim Bottomley. Oh, look at that shit right there. One vote. That is, Look, I'll be honest with you. I think either of these would have made a fun MVP. I'm obviously partial to Jim Bottomley because he's my guy. He's on my team. And if we're being honest with each other, he really ought to have won the MVP last year. He was literally the most valuable player in baseball. So maybe this is the universe balancing itself out. Who knows? But what I do know is that we won 2 awards. And yeah, Lefty Williams, if Bob Lawrence was my only competition, Bobo there was not that impressive. So, thumbs up to Team Us. Okay, I don't need your crappy reliever. So it's all gonna be about what else I get. I don't need a second crappy reliever. Like, alright, I know Earl Caldwell kind of sucks. This is known. But I don't need a reliever, I don't think. I don't need this guy. I just... This is the sake of. This is literally the sake of making a trade for the sake of making a trade. And I'm not going to do that. I don't see any point to it. If someone else is that desperate for Earl Caldwell in their lives, they can offer me more. But. Alright. Hall of Fame voting. I think a guy like a Johnny Bates is always, in pretty much all eras, going to have a hard time getting elected to the Hall of Fame. Because he doesn't have a huge number of hits. He didn't hit for a lot of power. What he did was get on base at a stupidly good clip and play really good defense. That's a Hall of Famer in my book. Like, I have no hesitation voting for him whatsoever, but I also know that it's going to be a hard sell to more traditional Hall of Fame voters who don't typically rate things like on base percentage very much. Yes to both of you. I'm just looking through to make sure I don't miss any obvious slam dunk candidates. I can't vote for Terry Turner. You're literally getting the shortstop bump. That is the only reason you have that many wins. Like, you were a good shortstop at one time, but you weren't, like, amazing. So, this is purely out of protest that I'm not voting for you. I think, historically, they've really overshot how much shortstop should be adjusted by. Like, I mean, Joe Tinker had a good career, but he was, like, an almost unanimous Hall of Famer just because he was a league average bat that happened to not embarrass himself at shortstop. For the era, that's probably a Hall of Famer, but I think we're reaching the point in history where, I mean, the dude did play for 21 freaking years. 22. Maybe I need to get over myself and just vote for him. Whatever. I voted for the obvious ones, in my opinion. I voted for the ones that I clearly think belong in the Hall of Fame. And I really don't see anybody else here that really does it for me. Like, there's a bunch of pitchers in the... I've got about 3,500 innings pitched or a little bit more. But my record looks like crap. And I'm not holding that against them. But it's also not the most endearing reason to vote for somebody. I mean, a guy like Jack Coombs I like just because he has more than 4,000 innings. And there's probably not that many people in Major League history, in our Major League history, that have 4,000 innings. So if we look, career innings pitched is 8,100. Notice how this is dominated by people in the dead ball era. 4,000 innings isn't actually that great a cutoff. Yeah, I almost think I have to mentally stop voting for pitchers that aren't amazing just to try to get the ballot worn down. Because I'm not seeing anybody here that's like, oh my gosh, I have to vote for that person. I could maybe vote for Ed Summers just because he has the Cy Young Award or the Mike Smith Award, but I don't think that's enough for me. I mean, if I'm going to vote for relievers, it would probably be Pete Wilson or Handsome Harry Suter. Not just because it's a great name, but it is a great name. You know what, Morirath? You won 12 bloody Gold Gloves. And even if you weren't a great hitter, that you had a career that long based purely off of defense at third base is pretty spectacular. So I'm going to vote for you out of sheer spite. Not spite, but just because it makes sense to me, right? Someone who's that damn good at their job deserves a vote. And then you're going to come back at me and say, then why not vote for Pete Smith? Or not Pete Smith, Pete Wilson. Or Harry Suter. And those are both fair things to say, I guess. But on the other hand, I don't care. What about Eddie Saccott? I mean, this is obviously better than his actual career, since he didn't get blackballed from baseball. But he didn't pitch enough, and he wasn't good enough when he did pitch. Like, there is no way in which Eddie Saccott is superior to Jack Coombs. Oh, you know what I didn't think of? 287 might be a realistically awesome career ERA. Let's see. All-time ERA is 214. Wait, what? Why is Jack Coombs not listed here? Oh, 287, that's right. I mean, there's Hall of Famers all around him, but the majority of them are pretty high above them. I mean, I'm just going to vote for this. If there's someone whose support was like in the 60s and I could help get them over the top, I would do it. But I'm good with this for right now. I like that ballot. I'm just going to go right to my pick. I'm not even going to drool over players I'll never get to use. All players. All right. So let's talk important things right now. I don't need any starters. I feel pretty comfortable saying that. That I've got great starters up and down the lineup. What I'm looking for is depth. Because I'll have Akers start at third. I'll be honest. A good middle infielder who can contribute off the bench would be quite a thing to have right now. And that screams Dib Williams. Or an injury replacement in the minors. There's also Frank Doljak, who's a really good hitter and plays all three positions quite well. Man, poor Cy Rosenthal will be starting on so many major league teams right now. He just doesn't have a chance here. Like, he's a good Bill Cunningham replacement, right? And he offers power off the bench. I think Mr. Doljak is the way to go. Or Tom Oliver. But the thing is, all Tom Oliver is a center fielder. And he's a center fielder that might hit for average. And this is the kind of player who might be taken first overall 10 years ago. But I don't even think he's worth the first round pick at this point. Not for us anyway. So I think I am going to go ahead and pick. There's old friend Bruce Campbell. Remember when I had him in the previous OOTP series? I'm going to pick Doljak. I think he's just the best fit for the team right now. And it doesn't make sense to me to take someone like Williams because I'm not going to be with his team next season. I mean, if people really don't want Ray Phelps, I'll take him. I'm not gonna argue with you. Any super secret megastars with the bat who are randomly poorly positioned as pitchers. Not really. I'm going to take Ralph Weingarner and then turn him into a hitter and see how he turns out. But I'm just going to go ahead and finish the rest of the draft. I'm not saying I don't care what happens. I'm just saying I don't care what happens next season. Ooh, dang. Hank Greenberg, Luke Appling. There's a pair of Hall of Famers for you. Very nice. Yeah, Hammer and Hank went to the Tigers. A fair point. I think that's quite smart. But yeah, I'm very happy to have Doljak and Phelps in the system. They can both be contributors this season. We'll have Akers starting at third base every day. I think this is good. I think this is potentially really good. Now, there is one possible big issue. One massive issue. And it's already started happening. At some point, Hank Everett will stop being a good hitter. And he's still playing pretty good. He's still playing pretty damn well at catcher. But the moment he stops hitting is the moment this team is in real trouble. And albeit we do have Al Lopez, but I mean, you have Doc Marshall. He's developed quite nicely as a very nice contact hitter. He's arguably better than Leo DeRocher. Like, he's such an extremely good contact hitter that maybe he's a player that we think about calling up, too. All right. Rule 5 draft, I don't care. And we're just going to skip ahead right to spring training. I haven't changed any of the strategy settings, and quite frankly, I don't think it's needed, but don't tell me what to do. Whatever. All right. I want Doc Marshall in the majors as an ultimate utility guy because he's better. Like, he can actually hit, which is something that none of the other utility guys on the major league roster have. Doljak would be my number 2 power hitter, even if he didn't play every day. That power is going to play right now, so I'm going to go ahead and call him up too. At least give them shots in spring training, and then we'll go from there. Phelps is another one. You are literally here to have a shot in spring training. Poor Frank Frankhouse. I had such high expectations for him. RIP. I really don't want Parkinson playing all that much, but whatever. It's spring training. I don't care. Hal McCain throwing harder. Yeah, as first round picks go, Mr. Frank House, you're a bit of a bust. And it's not your fault. You got injured. These things happen. Of all the players on my team, I kind of feel the worst for Cy Rosenthal just because he legitimately would start on a lot of teams. Mine is just not one of them, and I'm not trading him either. Because I'm a jerk. Alright. So who are we going to get rid of? I've got too many players. Let's start by disposing of 4 pitchers. Tommy, you can go to the minors, you can get cut. You've chosen to be cut. Whatever. Dave Davenport, to the minors or cut? You are cut. I'm sorry that you don't like Dave Davenport, but I'm trying to give you the very best possible team this season. Phelps is a damn starter. Stop turning starters into relievers. Phelps goes back to the minors, I think. I don't have a pressing need to rush him to the majors. Schreiber, designated for assignment, and Shield to the minors. No, Cantrell. Okay, we're actually down to 10 pitchers, and I'm actually fine with that. Williams is my ace. You know, just because I have a guy set as play him as a starting pitcher doesn't mean I necessarily want him to be my ace. Ayers, Earnshaw, and then Hadley and Whitehill. I'm completely fine with this relief. Setup. Looks great. Plus lets me carry 15 hitters. So I've got to get rid of 3 position players. Alright. Bing Miller doesn't want to be demoted. That's unfortunate because he is going to be disposed of if he doesn't accept it. I say disposed of like I'm taking them out back and shooting them. I'm not. I'm just cutting them. So apparently Bing Miller was a dick, which I didn't realize, and Cy back to the minors. And probably cut Joe Connolly. Like, I don't need this many outfielders. Alright. Doljak makes the Major League roster. He's going to be... Marshall makes it. Nobody else. Lineups. Let's rebuild this. Okay. Batters. Batting ratings. Contact. My best hitter is Jim Bottomley, and it's not particularly close. I'm going to go Archdeacon leading off. Cox hitting second. Goslin cleanup. There's someone with at least like a tiny bit of power. You've got really good power, but I don't know how well you'll hit over a full season. So I think we do go ahead and play Sewell 5th. Then Akers 4th. And that gets us a really good amount of power in the lineup. It's probably not as much as some teams, but top to bottom, we have 3 starters with excellent power, and I've got a couple that you're just basically waiting for roster spots. Severeid, you can bat 6th. I actually want you batting over Ayers just because I don't know if I can trust Akers yet. And then DeRocher's going to hit 8th. No, Lutsky is not playing every 4th game. He will start if Akers is tired and for no other reason. I don't know what it is about Parkinson that is encouraging you to give him more at-bats. Like, I know he's a good second baseman, so that doesn't make me sad necessarily, but, like, come on, bro. I'm just going to copy and paste this. I think this lineup is perfectly fine. And there is nothing left but testing out. And seeing how this season goes. This will probably be a shorter episode. I may do a quick overview of the Cardinals at the end of this episode, but maybe also, maybe not. Can we get back to the World Series? That is, I think, question number 1. Look, we've certainly got the lineup to do it. I don't think anyone would say that we don't. But there's a bigger issue. Which, for one thing, Ray Ben shut us out. That's not nice. We'll see what happens, though. Okay. And I did get through telling you guys how I was worried about that. Al Lopez to the majors. And he's probably the starting catcher. Because his defense will definitely play. And then I'm probably going to let Akers be rated over Lopez in the lineup. Players are getting a bit worse. Shutout for Earnshaw. Nicely done. Other than Akers and DeRocher, who hasn't played very much yet, and Lopez, the lineup is fine. I think this is mostly just the pitching staff not being at its absolute best. But it's still early yet, so we're just going to wait and see what happens before we start making any moves. Rube, you are a Rube. Shut the hell up. Cease your prattling, dipshit. Yeah, here comes Lefty Williams, aging like the bastard he is. Goose Goslin is somehow getting better. That's kind of a surprise at his age, but I'm not going to question it. I think the NL is just stupid competitive this year, to be honest with you. I think it's just stupid competitive. And because it's so competitive, Yeah, who made it? Lefty and Dick Cox. I am utterly appalled that Harry Heilman made the roster over Jim Bottomley. I don't know how he can consistently be one of the best players in the majors and yet still be ridiculously underrated, but apparently that's what's happening. I don't really care, though, is the thing. I don't care about expiring personnel. That makes me happy, seeing Hank Greenberg on the Tigers as fate proclaimed. All right. What is going on, my friends? DeRocher's fine. Akers and Lopez are both hitting absolutely terrible. And that's probably why we're struggling right now. And we're about to lose Dick Cox, it looks like. He's only going to miss 4 weeks, though, thankfully. And I don't mind at all sliding Doljak into right field and giving him a chance to prove that he can hit. We can even call up Cy Rosenthal. He can have a spot there. Third base is the bigger issue, though. I brought Akers here to hit and play defense, and he's done neither. So we're going to try to see if we can't acquire a third baseman. Or alternately a shortstop and then put Sewell back at third. I'm fine with that option as well. Marshall's a really good hitter, but not a great second baseman. Let's check the trade block. Is there a top-notch third baseman or shortstop that could be had? The answer to that question is an emphatic no. So, can't fix that unless we do it internally. Marshall's not a great shortstop, but he's probably better at shortstop than Akers is at third. So we're going to do this. Sewell to third, Marshall to shortstop. And Doljak starting in right. I don't know if this is going to fix the long-term issue, but it should at least fix the short-term issue. If you want to give Rosenthal the odd start, I'm not going to object. No. You are not playing Gagan at shortstop. That is ridiculous. Okie dokie. Right. Thanks, but no thanks. Pass. No, I don't think it helps that much. You know how you can tell I don't think you're part of the freaking starting lineup? The fact I haven't put you in the Dame starting lineup. That should be your clue. Man, some of these players are just utterly idiotic. Ooh, did Archdeacon get 5 hits? He sure did. Even got a home run. Yeah, this is just one of those seasons where we should be better than we are. Like, holy shit, is Frank Doljak taken to playing every day to heart? Yeah, I mean, I'm not at all upset by how we've performed this season. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. No, I can't sit him. No matter how great Doljak has been, I can't bench him, can I? No, I can't. Can I? Man, he's been everything I wanted as a right fielder. Do you have an issue with your swing at all? No, you're a good hitter either way. I'm not going to bench Goslin for him either. But Cox was on such a tear when he got hurt. It's a good problem to have, but it is a problem that I have. Namely, that I only have so many spots on the roster. Yeah, Cox is better right now. It is damn close, but he's better right now. Game, I know Gagan is a better shortstop. I don't care. Yeah, Cox, I think, has earned my trust over time. Why would you start Mo Berg? Is Berg actually as good defensively? He's actually better. The thing is, they're equivalent hitters, though, so I don't get why... Well, we can't just play Lopez, the younger player, and see if he works out. I think we're already out of it. I don't think we're making it to the World Series. It's a shame, but that's just where we are right now. Doc Ayers is going to retire. It's not Ayers' fault that we're not in playoff position. Red Rolf, Billy Herman, Ernie Lombardi. Only Lombardi and Herman are were Hall of Famers, but yeah. That's pretty good. So, alright. We didn't do so great. And if we look at the hitting... It sure wasn't Jim Bottomley's fault. I think this might have just been one of those years. Like, Goslin was as good this year as he's ever been. Jim Bottomley almost put up 30 homers for the third year in a row. Joe Sewell, you know what? His bat has slipped ever so slightly, but only by a hair. I am not upset with how this team performed. Not at all. We had great contributions from all of our starters. Our bullpen wasn't great, but it also wasn't terrible. I mean, this I think is just one of those years where we just weren't the best team. It's not because we did anything wrong. It's just because we just weren't the best team. It happens, my friends. It happens. And annoyingly, the Cardinals were actually pretty good this season. So I don't like that. We're going to go ahead and sim through the end of the awards. And then we're going to switch over to St. Louis. Yeah, well, your face can do better. Okay, game. Just please let me simulate. There we go. Did any Braves get any awards? Not in the least. Well then, dear friends, I bid you adieu. And hello, St. Louis. So what do we got to work with in St. Louis here? So we've got some pretty good offensive talent, actually. Frankie Frisch, Bill Terry, Ethan Allen, Dusty Cook. We've got some decent but not extremely good pitchers. That's something we're going to need to fix. It is hard to argue that we won't be able to make this team competitive in the very near future. Okay. Pending offers, withdraw all of them. Like, this lineup can genuinely compete. Like, let's take a look at how they did statistically this past season. Allen was phenomenal. Absolutely, utterly phenomenal. Terry was extremely solid. Is he Jim Bottomley? No, but there's only one Jim Bottomley. And the rest of his game is perfect. Good old Charlie here is a really good shortstop. They have made some damn fine picks, have the Cardinals. Dusty Cook. I've got my leadoff guy. On day one, I've got my leadoff guy. That's exciting. Frankie Frisch is getting a little on years, but he's still quite solid. Johnny Watwood was pretty good. They've even got a decent third baseman. I mean, I know he's not elite, but he's pretty good. We've got an okay catcher. I mean, this is just... It's a very good lineup that is paired with a very good starter and a bunch of starters who are not very good. Stewart is fine. Marbury is really, really not a starter. Might not have a choice, but... Yeah, we just need to work a little bit on the rotation. We are really spoiled this time, actually. I think our task is going to be transition, because this is an old team where most of their best players are 30 years or older. So we're going to want to start gradually not rebuilding or even reloading, but what I call recycling. Meaning not taking players and like putting them in a wood chipper, but taking players... like one starter each year and replacing them with a younger, better alternative. Like, Dusty Cook is a great building block, as is Ethan Allen. As is Johnny Watwood. I would say this will probably play quite well as a starting outfield. But the rest of the team is just is quite old. And we're going to start adding young talent. And we unfortunately have a bad pick this draft. We're going to be picking 12th. What does our scout do? Our scout is also highly favorability. Sure. Could probably do with a better first base coach, but I'm not really looking to change things up just yet. There are problems to be fixed on this team. Specifically the age and the overall... And just the rotation. Like, the rotation is not great. And the minor league cupboard is kind of bare. It's kind of real bare. So we're going to have to make some smart choices in the draft the next season or two. To try to supplement this aging core. And even be ready to trade older players. If they don't have an obvious role on the team anymore. The classic example here is probably going to be Ray Blades. Like, Cook is just better. And I just don't have a need for him anymore. So if we can get a quality pitcher, I'm going to trade him without hesitation. Yeah, we don't have depth. That is the one thing we don't have. Blayholder might end up starting a bit this season. We'll see. We really need to fix the bullpen. The bullpen is just basically garbage. We could use a quality pitcher here or there. But that's all for next season and next episode. So thank you very much for following the series. It really means a lot to see likes and views and subscriptions and things like that. I think our Braves run was an unqualified success. I really do. As good as our Pirates run, no. But we took one of the worst teams in Major League history and gave them 2 World Series championships and a trip to a third that we narrowly lost. And technically, I've also given the Braves another championship back in the past, but you can argue that wasn't as impressive. I think, unless one of these 2 franchises goes on a huge tear, that I'll either take Cleveland or Detroit next, once we finish with the Cardinals. So that would be in 1940. If we don't have a couple of World Series, if either one of them doesn't win at least a championship or 2, I'll probably pick one of those. I like changing back and forth between the AL and the NL. It keeps things interesting. We get to see some different players. So that's what's happening next week. We'll start off with the Cardinals. Thank you for watching, and until next time, this has been Avindian, and I bid you good day.